The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to another GoldMine 101, our regular series of short training sessions, particularly relevant during this period, giving you hints and tips on getting the most out of GoldMine CRM. And this morning, I'm going to cover the relationship tab, the relationship tree feature in GoldMine. What is it and why would you use it? So, hello, my name is Tim Wilmot and my company, Wizard Systems. We're a specialist CRM system supplier who help mainly small and medium-sized organizations improve their sales productivity, marketing, and customer service through simple and affordable software solutions like GoldMine. Now, this training session will be about 10 minutes or so. It's just an overview of some of the capabilities of the relationship tab. There can be actually quite a lot to it that I'll allude to in my presentation. So this is just an overview. If you're not familiar with it, it will just help you establish what it is and maybe why you want to use it, and you may want to dig into it a little bit deeper. If you do need more help, then Wizard Systems are on hand. We do provide extensive training options if you want to explore those with us. Now, the audio part of this presentation is one way only, as you would have gathered when you joined the event. If you've got any questions, please type those into the question box on your meeting control panel, and I'll do my best to answer those at the end. Also, at the end, I'll give you a quick update on GoldMine product news. And this training session is being recorded. After the call, you'll get an email from our system with the link to recording, and it will be up on our YouTube channel as well. Just go up to YouTube and do a search for Wizard Systems and you'll find us up there. So a quick mention about our company, Wizard Systems, very briefly. We are CRM specialists. GoldMine is one of the main CRM systems that we provide. We do provide others. We're not a one product company, but around GoldMine, we've been doing this many years and we've implemented well over 3,000 systems all over the place in different types of companies, different size organizations. And we provide any kind of service around GoldMine to help you get the most out of it. Okay, so let's dive into the relationship tree feature of GoldMine. Well, let's step back a little bit of history. When GoldMine first started, nigh on 31 years ago, essentially it's a contact-centric system. So you've got records of contacts that you deal with. Now that might be okay if you're B2C, all fine. But if you're B2B and you're dealing with a big business, you're dealing with an organization and there are multiple contacts, then if you hooked up to our session last week where we covered additional contacts, then I described to you that in the normal scheme of things, when you get a new contact, new company, you create them in GoldMine, of course. You have the company details, the primary contact, and then on the additional contacts tab, you have additional people that may work at that particular organization. They've got some kind of role at that particular organization. Now that might be fine for you, but what happens if you want to store more information about these two guys down here, Amelia and Raul? Maybe you want to store more information about them and be able to manipulate their records with more options than you have with them being an additional contact record. You see, being an additional contact record, you do have in GoldMine not many fields, not many boxes there to play around with to really go to town and track, more information about Amelia there. So the relationship tab was introduced a long time ago as a solution to this, but still keeping within the contact-centric structure of GoldMine. What we're doing with the relationship tree, the relationship tab, is we're creating a nice visual hierarchical family tree of that organization. So you can visually see the multiple contacts, departments, and so on in a nice visual way. And there are a couple of other things that we can do with a relationship tree defined that will save you time and help you keep information up to date with all of the contacts at a company. So here I have Bob Test, clicked on the relationships tab. Bob is not associated with an organization. Bob doesn't have an organization tree created. Well, I could easily create one by right-clicking on the relationship tab screen area, the active area of the screen there. And there are a few ways of doing this, but this is the standard way. So I could create a new organization, click OK, and that's done. I've created an organization called Test Systems. It's inherited the company name of Bob, and I've created my first little section. Or think of those as they could be departments within that company. They could be sites, different locations of that company. And there is Bob there as the initial entry in that particular organization and section. If I want to then create additional contacts, so what happens when we know of additional people that work with Bob? Well, I could take them from the additional contacts tab and add them to the organization tree here. Well, in fact, there are so many ways of doing this. I could just right click here and create new contact. I could say to GoldMine, well, let's look up an existing contact. Maybe I've created them already. So if I look up an existing contact, type in the first few letters of an organization name. Well, here is Joel. Let's select Joel Abbott as the second contact for this organization. I just double click here with my left-hand mouse button, and Joel has been added to the contact. So there is Bob and there is Joel. Notice as we click on these, they are the top half of the screen is reflecting the fact that we're just automatically displaying the details of that highlighted contact in the organization tree. Now, apart from the visual look and feel to the way of managing these multiple contacts within a company, there are at least a couple of other key reasons why you might want to use the relationship tree feature of GoldMine. The first one is the ability to replicate data. What that means is, so we've now joined all these multiple contacts together. Let's assume they all work for the same company. What happens if the company relocates? What happens if we appoint a new manager to look after them? What happens if the main office phone number changes? You don't want to have to change it multiple times against those separate contact records. No, what you do is you replicate data. You change the information on the main record in that section or the main record in the tree. So if I changed any of these entries here, phone number, address, and so on, I could right click here on the top of the company or the top of the section, and I go to replicate data, and very simply there, you can see I could replicate the address. It will filter it down. It will pass all that information and overwrite the information in the related records. Or I could highlight a particular field in my database as well. So that's the first benefit of using a relationship tree. is consolidating, keeping the data consistent amongst all of these multiple contact records. The next benefit of using the relationship tree is the ability to see is to roll up, to consolidate all of the information in the bottom tabs, so that when you're flicking around those tabs on the tab bar, the pending tab, the history tab, the links tab to see related documents, you are seeing all of the information consolidated on one screen. So again, you don't need to go to Joel's record to see everything that's happened against the company. You just click once. So I have activated the roll-up feature here, and I could click on the pending tab, and I will now see the pending tab, of course, is the outstanding activities for this company contact. So we can see here all of the outstanding activities for Bob, and yes, there's one that's been brought in for Joel. So there we are, a quick roundup of the relationship tree. There is more to it. It can do more things for you, but I just wanted to, on this free training session, just to give you a little, if you're not familiar with it, a little taster as regards why you may want to use it. Now, you don't have to use it. It may not be right for you. A lot of our GoldMine customers are quite happy using the additional contacts tab, so that you have one record for the company, a primary contact at that company, and then you're using the additional contacts to record the multiple additional contacts at that company. We do have other GoldMine customers of ours that are creating multiple contacts for the key contacts, the key people at that company, and they are not using the relationship tree for whatever reason. It's not relevant to them. They don't want all the extra bells and whistles that the relationship tree feature gives you. And we do have some people that are doing a little bit of a mix and match. So some people using additional contacts, and as well as the relationship tree. It's entirely up to you. The feature is there. It's up to you. I guess the answer is, if you're not familiar with it, think about using it. Would it be of use to you? And if yes, there may be more than one of you using GoldMine. You need to communicate to the team. You need to make sure that all of the CRM users are using your CRM tool in a consistent way. At no point someone going off at a tangent and creating lots of relationship trees willy-nilly, and then everyone else being blind to that capability. That the more people that are using a consistent way, the better chance you've got of keeping your CRM, your GoldMine system, up to date, relevant, with all the right information and all the right contacts in those trees. So, as we do now on our regular weekly training sessions, we open out our call to any questions you may have around this feature. So pop those questions in before I give you a quick update on any GoldMine product news. Question from Sam: can I link one company to another? So there are a few ways of doing this, but the easiest way, on the relationship tab in the top left corner, there was a button called New Contact. If you click on the drop-down list of that, there's an option there that will say New Company. Click on that, GoldMine will take you to link the company that you're on right then to another company record in your GoldMine database. So yes, that can be done in that way. Sam, Jenna, I've been playing around with it, and what is the record type? Okay, so the record type is a way. So normally in GoldMine, you've got records of people and companies. That's what a CRM system is essentially tracking. But maybe your company supplies high value pieces of equipment or machines. So it's possible in GoldMine to actually create records of these machines as a different type of record, distinct from records of people and companies, contact records. And the screen will look different. So if it was a machine, it might have fields for make and model and serial number, machine location. So you could, using the relationship tree, you could have a record of the location of the site, and then below that you could have records of the machines at that site that you may be maintaining. Just as an example, Jenna, don't know whether that's relevant to you, but that's record type, and incorporating that into the relationship tab there. Jack, we have lots of companies to create. Is there a quick way of creating them? There is, but it can be quite dangerous. Going back to the additional contacts tab, the administrator, the main GoldMine user, can right-click there and convert all additional contacts to main contracts and main contacts. And also there's a little tick box to say convert every other contact record in your GoldMine system with the additional contacts into organization trees in the flick of a switch. Very dangerous. There's no edit undo. I would not recommend it. So, and you may want to be a little bit picky as regards what organizations you want to create. I mean, I do know of some GoldMine customers that where they do use this feature and they use it quite sparingly, and they only really use it for key companies that they're servicing, top customers, or big organizations, or organizations with multiple sites, multiple locations. So you've got to be, so I would say, to your question, yes, there is a quick way, but don't use it, because it may create the relationship trees for organizations that you don't want to do that. So, and it is also potentially, that option could significantly increase your database contacts, because it is kind of promoting those additional contacts into main contact records and gluing them together visually in the system with that relationship tab screen. So be careful. If unsure, because there's no edit undo, if unsure, always make sure a verified backup is done of your GoldMine database. There is no edit undo when creating these things, okay? So be a little bit cautious there, Jack. Jill, thanks very much. Yes, explore the tab. Jamie, we like to separate the company contact from an individual employee. Currently, we create a contact called Office for each company. Is there a more elegant solution for this? So currently, we create a contact called Office for each company. Yeah, Jamie, I would say try and use the relationship tree rather than lots of. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. It's going back to what I said earlier. If that's the way you like doing it, if it works for you, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, sort of thing is my answer to you. If it works for you, and I do know of the way you describe that, I do know of other companies that have or are doing this right now. So you're not alone in what you're doing, the way you're managing those multiple contacts and having a contact record called Office. I know somebody else that has one called Main Contacts, very similar to you. If it works for you, continue to do it, but you just got to think, well, if you introduce a new user to your system, just make sure you give them a little, I'm sure you do, make sure you give them a little bit of introductory training just to explain how you create those contacts. But maybe what I've gone through this morning is more of a visual way of doing that. And you know, where I had that section, and it calls it employee. Maybe you just have one. You can actually click into that section, rename it, and call it office. So that might be an option for you there, Jamie. Right, don't think there's any more questions coming through. If any late ones come through, I will try and pick those up and answer them separately via email. Thanks very much for those of you listening live and or watching live and asking those questions. So during the current period, we're still in sort of semi-lockdown in the UK, gradually in the lockdown easing phase, but all of our training currently is online. We've got a couple of training rooms at our Bristol base. So we hope to open those out when it is safe to do so. We've actually got quite a lot of space in our office so we can observe social distancing, but we're all working from home right now still. But we hope to get back to the office soon. Doesn't really affect the way we're doing our business. So we're providing all our training online at the moment. Latest release of GoldMine, soon to be 2020.1. And this will have a big enhancement to email security, the OAuth security as defined by Google. That'll be implemented in 2020. It's going through beta at the moment, just about to be released. And you must have a maintenance contract. You can get a maintenance contract from Wizard Systems, and that'll make sure you're always up to date, or you have the capability of being up to date with your GoldMine versions. As these new versions come out, they are not automatically applied. You have to access them and implement them, which is very straightforward indeed. So that's me done on this morning's little training session on the relationship tab feature. Check it out. Any questions, please email me. Certainly, if you've got any suggestions for future training topics, anything that is frustrating you, or you don't know what it is, or you think it would be of interest to other GoldMine users, please let me know. So my name again is Tim Wilmot, and email address is tim@wizard-systems.com. So thanks very much for your time, those listening live, or if you're watching a recording up on YouTube. Check out our channel. We've got a Wizard Systems channel and a GoldMine playlist, so you can while away all your time watching lots of GoldMine videos up there. So thanks very much. This is a weekly training session. We'll catch up with you hopefully same time next Wednesday. Thanks very much indeed. Bye-bye.